Hi, friends. Welcome back to my podcast. I am Megan Daubert, and I am picking up with the story of last year when we came home from the Shepherd Center Rehabilitation Center, and Mike is now at home again. So thanks for listening with me up to this point. And once again, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube or Spotify. And thank you for those 5-star reviews. Honestly, I'm not really sure why we do them yet, other than it just helps build the credibility of what I'm doing. So I think maybe one day I'll need that. But for now, it just makes me feel really good. So thanks for doing that, please. And thank you. I love you all. I really, truly do love reading your comments. And so, yeah, thank you for keeping up with that. And today, I'm just going to walk down my memory lane of what the first week home again was like. So this is middle to the end of April of last year when we came home. And now being home again it's wonderful on one hand. I remember walking into our home and everything it feels familiar, but also feels different. So not only were rooms physically changed and the house was very clean when we came home, which was such a joy, but everything just had this layer of difference to it from my perspective. Of course, everything was different for me now, but I just had to keep telling myself, okay, you are safe. We are home now. We are not in a hospital. There is comfort around every corner, my own bed to sleep in. We have couches, we have chairs. I have my own kitchen. We're back together as a family. This is good. We are safe. We made it. It was just kind of this recurring voice inside my head. This is okay. You're here. You made it. So Michael coming home, the very first day. Now, remember, he has this defibrillator implanted in his side, and it hasn't done anything crazy, but he has this awareness of its presence, and sometimes it would hurt him. We think, we don't really know. But the first full day we are home, we are in the room. I'm unpacking something and my back is turned towards Michael. So I don't see what he does, but he exclaims this ow. And I turn around and I'm like, what was that? And he sits on the bed and he's holding his side or holding his chest. Was that what he was doing? He was holding himself right here because the defibrillator is implanted on the side, in his rib cage, but there is a lead line that goes up through goes through underneath his heart and then down through towards the top of his heart. So he can feel this wire. But I have it on my radar to if the defibrillator were to go off, it would shock him. Now, his reaction didn't seem like enough to be a shock, but he said, ow, in this very loud, alarming way. And now I know that I have about 30 seconds to get as much information medically out of him as possible. So I'm like, okay, touch the part of you that hurts. What does it feel like? What just happened? Can you describe the sensation? And he's like, I can't, I don't know. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have to call the cardiologist now because I don't know what the heck, why you just said, ow. And I'm obviously still thinking worst case scenario because the worst thing seems to have happened already. So he's now he does not remember what just happened. So I can't ask him anymore. So the only information I have to go on is, okay, well, if anything happens, I have all these papers, all these instructions. I have to call cardiology now. So I have to go find the number from the discharge papers of who our at-home cardiologist is. I don't know who it is. Never seen this person before. We were just assigned this team. So I figure out from the paper, okay, who do I call? And that trail of calling a doctor's office, press 1 if you'd like to speak to so-and-so, press 14. It's so unhelpful. You don't just, anyway, whatever. I finally reach a receptionist. Of course, the doctor that we're assigned to is not available. So I'm like, I don't care. Just, this is what happened. We are new defibrillator people. My husband just exclaimed in pain. He's fine. He's breathing. There's no other thing wrong. But how do I know if what just happened? I'm supposed to tell you all these things. Anyway, they we have this like transmitter device that sits at Mike's bedside, and between that and his actual device implant, like it's constantly sending this feed, is my understanding, and they can watch it. So the doctors took a look at it and were like, we don't see any event that happened. We'll monitor it for the next 24 hours closely, and you call us back if anything happens. We'll call you if we see anything abnormal. So great. Didn't have to take him in. But that happened literally the first day. And it's just, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. Because he wasn't really having any cardiac issues while we were in the hospital after the main event. So I was only thinking like brain injury issues, but then he comes home and now, ow, that hurts. Like it was just great timing, Michael. So other things that marked that time, Michael loved saying, and I think I have a video that I will post about this on Instagram. He loved saying, "This is the first day I've been awake," or "This is the first day I remember." Like he would say that all the time. So he's, he wakes up and he's like, "This is the first day I've been awake." And I think what I was translating that to mean is his just like awareness felt more real to him. So him saying, "This is the first day I've been awake," kind of was just this new level of, okay, I know what's going on. I'm present in my body. This is the first thing I remember. But that like, it just shifted all day long. And he would say that if someone came by the house and they were sitting in the living room talking with us, Michael would be like, "This is the first day I remember." And it's sweet the first time you hear it, but the kids and I quickly learned to be like, okay, just like nod and smile, just agree. And, we all know that that's not actually true, but it's what he's saying. It was really hard to hear that all the time, and hard, just sad, like you're sad for him that his awareness isn't actually aware. And just sad, this constant reminder that we're not okay. He's not okay. So the kids got the introduction to that as well in the first week. He did sit down at our piano and he started playing one of his favorite songs, kind of the full thing, which he had not been doing at the Shepherd Center. The song was The Story I'll Tell, which is by Maverick City. And that was kind of his theme song for the last several years of his life. It's this beautiful song of walking through hardships and declaring like, one day I'm going to tell the story of how you got me through this, God. Like, you are good. I don't see it now. It's like it says the hour is dark and it's hard to breathe. I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're here with me. And one day I'm going to tell this story. It's this beautiful song, and he would play it all the time before his accident, play it on the piano or listen to it, or when he just needed some encouragement. So like that was his theme song, right? And then after his accident and cardiac arrest and brain injury, it became very obvious to me what that song was about. And it just has such a special place in my heart. And so when Michael got home, sat at his piano, maybe it was because it was familiar, he just started playing it. And I have another video of that, which I will be sure to post on Instagram because it's really, really beautiful. So that was like a high when we got home, was, whoa, maybe some things do come flooding back now that we're home together in our space. Another high was that we finally got to meet our newborn nephew. Baby Parker was brought over, so I got to hold him for the first time, and Michael got to hold the baby, and we got precious time with our sister-in-law, Anna. And this day in particular, we were all sitting in our living room. So not only was Michael constantly being like, "This is the first day I remember," but he also was really exercising that no filter muscle. And he had no problem telling us when he thought things were dumb or stupid. And he was sitting in the living room with us, and he like was very vocal about how he hated the arrangement of our living room. He looked at our TV, which, because of like where our doorway is, our TV is off centered from the couch in the sitting area. And he was like, "This room is so dumb. This is so stupid. This whole thing is dumb." And I'm just sitting there like, okay, tell us how you really feel, Michael. Has that been under there this whole time for the last 9 years? Or is it just newly stupid to you? But I mean, we laugh about it and it's funny, but he would continue to pick things out. Like there was this picture in our bedroom. And if you recall, our bedroom has been like, had this beautiful refresh. So there's this new picture of this blue heron that is up on the wall. And I actually love it. Blue herons are just beautiful. We have them here in Virginia Beach. And I learned on one of my favorite shows, Outlander, that like the blue heron symbolizes healing. So I thought that that was so beautiful. Anyway, Mike walks in and he's like, that picture, I don't like it. Can we get rid of it? And I'm like, what? Hold on. You have opinions about pictures? So it was also, again, funny, but also just like, who is this person? Like Michael would never do that beforehand, or he would politely be like, hey, I know you love this picture of the blue heron, but could we maybe consider what else we could put up there? Because I don't like it. No, this now, and he's done this several times since. He'll be like, that picture, I don't like it. And I'm, what do you do with that? So anyhow, it was a little like, oh, do we bring him in public? Is he gonna say things in public like this? So yeah, and he does. But the first week, well, actually the first several weeks, it was advised that we just kind of lay low and don't really reintegrate into our life as much as we would want to. However, Michael was showing signs of like interest of like, yeah, I want to go to church the first Sunday. And our boys were in baseball season. So of course they had baseball games, and it was advised that, okay, maybe we don't bring daddy to baseball games. However, I really wanted him to come, and the boys really wanted him to come. And when you would ask him, he would want to come. So we tried it out, and it ended up being a good thing. Like he would like the idea of going there. Now, was he able to hang? No, not at all. It became overstimulating for him. He did a good job. Like he'd get there, he'd be happy, he'd want to be interested in the baseball game, but very quickly he would get tired and lose interest. He couldn't track the game, couldn't really understand what was going on, and he wanted to go home, which nobody's faulting him for that. His brain is on overdrive, healing. So, of course, that type of activity outdoors was overstimulating because baseball games are long, right? So we reintegrated a little bit more than was suggested. When we first came home, like we did go to church, and that first Sunday was really special. It was baptism Sunday, and we sat towards the front, and during this one song called Glorious Day, Michael wept the whole way through. And it was really beautiful. And he didn't explain why, but he was just tears just pouring down his face. And I remember sweet little Brooksy, our Brooks came into big service with us and sat in between me and Mike. And I remember him just like looking up, watching dad cry during this song the whole time. And it was really precious. Like Michael didn't remember a lot of people at church. I mean, not many people at all. He Something impacted him, and it was just it felt good, it felt normal, he felt human. And so that was our first time at church. The first week was filled with random baseball games. We took him to our favorite restaurant called Las Palmas, and that is a family favorite of ours. And we went to order, and it occurred to me, oh my gosh, Michael doesn't know what to order. He doesn't know what his favorites are. He doesn't know what to look at. So like him looking at the menu was overwhelming. And I had to just pull out like a few options to give him some suggestions of, hey, you really like this meal, or you really like this. How about we choose that? And just, but that first of realizing, oh, his preferences are gone. And now, do I remember what he loves to eat? Do I order what he should eat? Do I order something he loves? Do I just try something new? I don't know what. So like that's been interesting, because that has also happened. That's continued over this past year of him not remembering his preferences at certain restaurants. And I'm like, wow, this is so weird. Like your food preferences haven't stayed the same. And also, by the time we're home, Michael has he never had the memory of his therapist at Shepherd Center, but he could not tell you where he had been for the last 3 months, or more than that. So the fact that I had on my phone videos of each therapist, those really came in handy when he would argue with me that he was fine. There was nothing wrong with his memory. He feels great. He's back to normal. He's ready to go to work. He's ready to handle finances again. And I would have to be like, I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what's true. So I would have to get out my phone and we would have to replay videos of his time at Shepherd Center with these therapists, each talking to him about what he needs to work on and where his deficits still are. But here's how much you've grown in this time. So anyhow, that was just very disorienting too. But so that first week, not only am I learning how to be fully in charge of him at home, but we have all 3 therapy visits multiple times a week. We have cardiology visits. I'm going back to the cardiology because his machine is shifting and moving, so they're calling me in on random hours of the day and saying, "Hey, we need you to come in. We need to monitor his defibrillator because we think the lines aren't working right," which is scary. So of course you go in and change everything that you're doing and go back to the cardiologist. Again, we had his primary care physician, which was such an interesting conversation because I'm sitting there. It was like an hour-long doctor's appointment, and I'm just catching the doctor up with everything that's happened. And he's like, at the end of it, he's like, "Well, okay. I mean, I'll see you in a year." And I'm like, "What are we doing here? I don't know." We had to wait a full year to get into neurology. So we didn't have a neurology appointment, but we had all the therapies, primary care, cardiology, dentists. I had to go to our dentist because he definitely had dental damage from the bite blocks when he was intubated. And I wanted to make sure there weren't crazy cavities growing from his lack of personal hygiene ability. Just so much to think about. I mean, 2 to 3 appointments a day. And if you think about your day, by the time you've like gotten up, taken care of the family, gotten everybody dressed and fed for one meal, gotten yourself in the car, driven to the edge of town for a doctor's appointment, gotten to this new building, figured it all out, messed with all the insurance stuff, had your visit, come back, drive to the next one, like that's your entire day. I mean, there was no room for me to do anything but care for Michael, take him to appointments, drive him around, come back, rinse and repeat, do it over and over again. It was a lot. And sometimes the insurance was super messed up. So it was always a headache. Going to these appointments were never easy. And Michael would not realize why he needed to go. So it was the same conversations every time and reintroductions to new people, and just kind of a lot of the appointments that first week were me retelling the medical professionals where he was, catching him up with what had happened, getting their notes up to speed, and all these long assessments that Michael needed. So it was incredibly overwhelming. I was like a professional at going to doctor's appointments, and that was just for one person. Like I had to take care of myself and the kids too. So thank God I had people helping out with driving the kids to sports and helping me with meals and the grocery shopping. Like it just, I don't know how you do it alone. Nobody can do this kind of thing alone. That's for sure. Well, one of the days it was occupational therapy. And I just remember Michael is being assessed by his therapist. And I am sitting there just staring out the big, big window and thinking of one of my favorite songs at church, Firm Foundation. It was one that I love to lead, but it says, "Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. When everything around me is shaken, I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus because he's never let me down." It's this beautiful song, but I remember sitting there and I just remember thinking, how will I ever sing that again? Like, I feel so let down. I don't feel like I have a firm foundation anymore. Like it feels like everything was just ripped away from me. Like the rug was pulled out from under me. everything in my life was shaken, and I'm just like floating in this vast giant ocean with like waves coming and coming, and I'm just floating. And I feel that way because Michael, he was like my solid ground, my partner in everything. And it's the term is called a secure base, right? Like we can have a secure base in a lot of things. And for me, it was Michael. And I no longer had that secure base. We can have secure bases in our jobs and friendships and families and spouses and our identities. And mine was Michael. And so it was gone. And so, of course, I'm feeling like I'm floundering and without a foundation. And in that appointment, as I'm thinking these thoughts, I just had this clear vision of all of those things in the natural realm. They were like torn away from me. And then there I was. But underneath me was this vast, giant, solid rock, this solid foundation that had been there the whole time. But I hadn't noticed it because I was so tightly wound around these things like my Michael and our life that I thought was part of my firm foundation. But once they were stripped away, it revealed like just this supernatural sense of, no, you have the Lord. He is your solid, firm foundation, and He goes as far as the eye can see and beyond. And that surface is solid and unshakable and immovable. And though you feel like you are standing there alone in that darkness, you are on a solid ground, Megan, because all you have is Jesus. And I felt that deeply. And that has stuck with me all of these months. Like I feel alone and cold in this dark place, but I am firmly planted on the solid ground, which is Jesus. And that moment for me in therapy was the beginning of me realizing, goodness, I didn't even realize I had like false foundations in place. Like I was just going about my life all these years trying to do the right thing, but not actually recognizing the rock that I did actually stand on. The one rock that has been holding me up all my life is indeed still there. And it is in fact so great and so powerful. And now, Megan, that's all you have, but that's enough. And He ain't going anywhere. So you can do this. And later that week, I came across the C.S. Lewis quote, which I don't have memorized, so I'm going to read it. I came across the C.S. Lewis quote that says, "I know now, Lord, why you utter no answer. You yourself are the answer. Before your face, questions die away. What other answer would suffice?" And I remember reading that and it just like sinking in because I wanted answers. I wanted to know why, what, how, who, when, all those things. But in the face of Jesus, like all those questions, they fade away because He is the answer. And that sounds very vague, I know, but when you are tossed in a storm, such as the one I found myself in, like you just need the one true thing to cling to. And for me, that's Jesus, my solid ground. And none of this was fun to come home to. None of this was good. None of this felt safe and normal. Like my secure base was gone. Michael was no longer my person that I could rely on and be safe and comfortable with. But I have Jesus, and that's enough. And He was going to be my refuge and my security to get me through this hard season. And I'm still in the middle of it. I'm talking like I'm through it. I am not through it. I am still alone in that vast, giant space on my solid rock, though. And I know that He is near. And I know that I am not alone and I am not sinking because I am standing on Jesus, with Jesus. He is with me. He is my refuge. And just that mantra is mine to cling on to every day, especially that first week home of all of this craziness and chaos. But that is true of you as well. Wherever you find yourself today, no matter what you think your secure base is, those things are shakable. Those things are movable. You can lose them in an instant, but you will never lose the Lord. He is always there with you. He is always holding us. He is always present. Yeah. So going to leave you with that. First week home, all the weirdness. But yeah, I appreciate you listening with me, and I will share more next time. And may you just lean on Jesus today because he's that good. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time.